We meet once again in our weekly HR videos. Today we are going to talk about managing a new employee or a new hire probation period and the performance. Okay. Now, whenever we hire a new employee, and we have a lot of issues of employee, especially during the probation period, not performing up to the expectations of the company. Now, how do you manage this? You can manage this when the issue has already happened, or you can manage the issue before it already happens. That means being proactive about it. Okay. Now, today let's talk about a few steps. Now, the first step to achieving good performance results from a new employee is the first step is to have proper induction programs. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about induction program, what are we talking about now? It's not a one-day orientation, or it's not a 1-2 hour session spent talking about the company's vision or the rules and regulations, but it is a planned event or a planned progressive induction program. Okay, it is not a 1-day, 2-day program. It could lead up to about a week to a month. Okay, now the first step in the induction program is, of course, we need to talk about the company's vision, mission. Now, when we talk about company's vision, it's not just telling the statement and that's it. No, we need to explain to the new employee the spirit or the principle behind this vision and mission. Okay, and how this employee is going to play a role to achieve that. Okay, number 2, we need to explain to the employees the company's business plan and business goals and objectives. And this gives the new employee or the new hire an idea about what is expected of him. Okay, what sort of performance he needs to perform to achieve these business objectives and goals by the company. Okay, then we need to also talk about the rules and regulations. Okay, what can be done, what cannot be. That means the do's and the don'ts. Along that lines, we also need to tell the employee his role and responsibility, and this can be done through a proper comprehensive job description. Okay? That is one of the most key things that needs to be set down and explained line by line by the head of department to the new employee about his job description. It's not a case of just giving a person a job description and saying, okay, here you go, this is what you need to do, but you need to actually sit them down and go through them line by line to get them to understand their role, their responsibility, what are the tasks involved in them to achieve the required performance during this probation period. Okay? Now, next, once you have done that, the most important thing next is to have a new employee training plan. Ladies and gentlemen, in most cases that we have realized and we have experienced, when a new employee joins the company, there is no structured training to actually take the employee through the process, okay, to achieve the desired performance results. Now, when we hire an employee, okay, after they go through the interviews in order to select them based on their qualifications and their experience and knowledge. But then, is that enough for them to fulfill the requirements of the job that you have hired them for? So it is very, very important that here, human resource and the business unit heads or line managers need to sit down and come up with a comprehensive new employee training plan to identify. For example, if the probation period is 6 months or 3 months, at every month, what are the skill and knowledge you are going to impart to this knowledge? It has to be tracked, where whoever is training this person has to acknowledge the training, has to verify that this person has been trained, and also the employee has to verify that he has been trained or he or she has been trained. So it is critical. You need to take them in a structured manner to show that what do we really want them to know for them to achieve the performance results that we are expecting. Okay? Now, when we have the new employee training plan, in there you will have, okay, the knowledge, what sort of knowledge you need from this person to achieve it, to be successful in his job, okay, for the next 6 months. Because that is the most important thing you need to focus first, because this is a new employee. Second, the skills. What skills they have now, and what are the skills we need to train them. Okay, so in some cases, a new employee training is done through on-the-job training. In fact, that is the most effective way to do it. But we also have where we also use the buddy system. Now, the buddy system can work the wrong way for you. I tell you why. Because you choose the wrong person to be the buddy, the person may choose the wrong thing. So you need to find an employee who is performing very well, who's a model employee, who's performing very well, who's achieving the performance results, who is very well knowledge and skillful and understands the company's overall culture, work ethics. So this can be imparted into the new employee. So this all has to be part of the new employee training plan. Okay? So this is very important. So you need to handhold them for the first 3 months or the 6 months during this probation period. Now, once we have achieved that, what is our next step? The next step is actually drive the performance. Driving the performance doesn't mean going and telling this person, are you achieving this, are you achieving that? No, it has to be done in a manner. Monitoring the performance. Okay, the first step is to monitoring the performance. We need to do a periodic review where if the probation period is 3 months, at least minimum you have to do two performance review before you actually do the final performance review to confirm or not to confirm this person. And for someone who's been on under 6 months probation, you probably need about 3 probations review before they actually go for the final performance appraisal before confirmation. Now, why do we do that? Okay. Now, through these periodic reviews, what you will get is that we will be able to identify areas for improvement, number one. Number two, we will be able to see what level of skill the employee has learned, okay, as compared to what he needs to learn, right? We will know where they are at that point of time. And if there is a need for us to intervene as managers, then we can intervene and do the necessary to get them back on par. Okay. Now, when I say identifying areas for improvement, it means sometimes some employees are not be able to catch up in certain areas. So you need to actually focus on those areas and improve them there on that spot. What is required to be done? What are the improvements needed? And we need to immediately focus on getting it, taking corrective actions. So after monitoring, what is the corrective action? Corrective action here could be, you can use coaching and mentoring, okay, which is very important, all right? Or you can actually go back to sending this person to a proper training where it can be an external training, okay, or a training that's done in-house. Okay, so we need to look at all these possibilities, right? Now, next, when we do the performance review and monitoring, this will give us a gauge and idea where the employee is. We will come to a point, ladies and gentlemen, when we need to manage the non-performance, then it will be very, how should I say, easy for us to do it, because number one, we already have the induction program in place. We know what we need to do. Number two, we have already got the new employee training plan in place. We know how they are training them. So there is no way, how should I say, no way, but there's a lesser possibility of this new employee not performing in their job. Okay. Now, why do we need to have this structured manner to do this? Number one, if the employee's performance during the probation period is not up to our expectation, and we need to extend this employee's probation to another maybe 30 days or as per the company's employment, how should I say, employment terms and conditions. But we also have documented evidence that we as a company have been fair to this employee in trying to manage this employee's performance and build him up and bring him up to the level of performance we expect from the employee. So we have acted in a very responsible manner and also in a very fair manner. So it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, that this, when we manage a new employee, we need to manage them in a structured manner, okay, and also in a manner it's documented. So at the end of the day, when we need to let this employee go, we have all documented evidence. Okay? So when it comes to new employee performance, when we focus on improving the performance at the end of the performance period, at the end of the probation period, it's too late. We need to consistently, from the day one this employee walks in until the day of their final confirmation appraisal, there should be a intervention, there should be corrective action, there should be continuous focus on improving this employee's performance. Okay. So my dear ladies and gentlemen, in summary, to manage a new employee's performance, number one, we need to have a good induction program in place. Number two, we need to have a new employee training plan in place. Number three, consistent improvement through monitoring the performance. This has to be done. So when we do all these activities and we do it in a very diligent manner, ladies and gentlemen, we will be able to achieve the desired performance results that we expect from a new employee. And it's only fair that we as the management, as the employer, need to do this step, or it's a responsibility of ours to ensure that any employee that we hire performs to the desired performance levels that we are expecting. Okay. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and we'll meet you in our next video. Thank you.